going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. So we got the trailer loaded up, Cameron's truck. Cameron is Dalco Enterprises, the channel we talked about before. Link him down below because he's helping out a ton today. We got a little bit of money and I found a set of 1-ton axles for sale for the Grand Cherokee. So we're gonna go take a look at those, take you guys through the process of buying them. Hopefully this trailer is not empty by the time we turn it around. I guess we'll figure it out. This is all we got to buy the axles, so hopefully it works. That's like a quarter what the front housing costs on my Wrangler, so we'll see what we can do with it. Cameron's got this weird thing going on with his truck. Turn your turn signal on.
Yeah, it's only when the trailer's connected though. So this is when my headlights are off and left turn.
All of his lights flash when he turns his turn signal on. So we're not sure why it does that. It only does it when the trailer's attached. So what, we're gonna try to get there and get back before it gets dark?
Yeah, I mean, I got running lights and everything. I just didn't have time to look into it. So it's probably a background or something stupid somewhere. But
so we're gonna
aware that the trailer was not accessible.
I have a trailer, but apparently we can't use that today because it's at one of my family members' house. So Cameron had to use his trailer, which also wasn't really in perfect condition this morning. So we got it all together. We're on our way to go get axles, so I'll catch you guys when we get there. Alright guys, so I spent a couple $100. We're back at my house. We have an empty trailer and we have some giant axles. So the axle in the middle is a stock Wrangler Dana 30, which I believe is a little bit wider than a Grand Cherokee Dana 30. And this whole thing is the Dana 60 that we picked up for the Grand Cherokee. This thing's just massive. I'm going to tear into it a little bit soon, take it apart. We had to cut all the brackets off obviously before we weld on the truss. This one specifically is going to suck a lot. I'm not really sure how we're going to get that cut off because that's just solid metal. But I'll go a little bit more into detail about this tomorrow. It's getting dark. I have to go pick my Jeep up from Cameron's house because it's still there. But I'll pick up with this tomorrow. So it's the next day. Axles are here. It's pouring down rain. I was actually going to install fender liners on the Wrangler. But I think I'm going to start messing with this. You guys will see that in the next video. I'm going to tear down the front axle. I do have to, obviously take everything off, cut all the brackets off, and then clean everything up real well because we're going to have to get a truss for it and weld it on all across there so it'll bolt into the Grand Cherokee. Then I'll have to do the same for the back. The back will be a little easier because there's just a lot less brackets. This bracket's going to suck a lot because it's like solid metal at this point, but it shouldn't be too bad. But I just can't get over how huge these things are. This Jeep's going to be crazy wide. I mean, that axle is a little bit wider than the Grand Cherokee axle. These are the axles we're putting under it. Just so you have an idea of like what my plans are with this. Pretty much, I just need this center section of the housing. Everything else is getting replaced. I'm probably going to go with new OEM brakes. ARB locker, I believe. ARB locker in the rear. Probably an R-Tech truss in the rear. Steering, I'm not sure yet. I definitely want aluminum steering since that's what I have in my Wrangler and it works so well. Reed racing knuckles, upgraded ball joints, RCB shafts, 538 gears. Obviously we're going with the Adams drive shafts for the drive shafts for this. We'll get that once it's in. And for the back, there's a lot less to do on the back actually because you don't have any of the steering components. It's pretty much just a refresh, re-gear, axle shafts, the locker, drive shaft, the truss so it'll bolt in. And besides that, the back's actually not too much work compared to the front. But I think I'm going to go ahead and start tearing apart the entire back axle here, or front axle here. Get it stripped down so that way it's more manageable because this thing's heavy. It took me and Cameron probably 30 minutes to unload these and get them in here, and we moved them 10 feet. So I'm going to go ahead and strip this all down so that way we just have the center section of the housing a little bit more manageable, and then I'll start cleaning it up, figuring out how I'm going to cut off these brackets. This one shouldn't be too bad because it's not solid. This one over here though, solid metal, so I'm not really sure how we're going to do that. I'm going to look at how other people have done that so far, but this is going to be a huge build. I haven't decided on the tire size yet. I might go 40s first and then hopefully 43s, but I want to make sure everything works before I get to that point. But this build's going to make the Wrangler look super small. I mean, even the axles alone make the Wrangler axles, which are upgraded Curry axles, look pretty small. So if you guys want to stay tuned for this whole build, I plan on making a whole series on the 1-ton swap. Pretty much every step I do, so that way you guys can, if you're considering doing this, see what goes into it. I'll make a parts list at the end of everything you'll need to do it, total price out, all that stuff. That way if you guys want to 1-ton swap your Jeeps, you know at least what you're getting into and have some kind of reference for what you need to do. But if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you guys go ahead and hit subscribe. We're super close to 2,500 subscribers, which is a pretty big goal for mine. Obviously, it'd be awesome to have a lot of people watching this build. This might be one of the bigger Grand Cherokee builds that have been done so far. We have a ton of custom stuff planned for this build, but this was just the start of it. Picked up the axles yesterday, and I'm going to get to work on these, slowly cleaning them up, building them, and getting them ready to go in. In the meantime, I did actually order some frame stiffeners for the WJ yesterday from Iron Rock Off-Road. So we're going to go ahead and put those in. You guys can expect a video on that. Once those are done, I'll install the 6.5-inch long arm kit from them. And then it'll pretty much be just how fast I can get this done. And I want to do it right, so I'm not going to rush it. This is the first build I haven't had a time frame on that it needs to be done by. So I'll make sure it's perfect, because these axles are awesome. Just got to clean them up a little bit, rebuild everything. This will be my first time like re-gearing an axle, installing lock and all that stuff 100% by myself. But that's kind of the point of this, is so I can learn how to do everything on my own, figure it all out. So the whole build's going to be done by me unless I need a bunch of help. And then obviously Cameron will probably help a little bit, double checking some of my work and make sure it's correct. Since this thing will be a rock crawler, you really don't want it to break on the trail, because we're going to be doing some crazy stuff with this build. But if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you guys go ahead and hit subscribe, like the video, drop a comment down below what you want to see done to the Grand Cherokee, and I'll see you in the next one.